Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As I've alluded to in previous video, we got some work to do. It's time to get this girl ready to go for next year. I already know the batteries are probably dead and it just started to rain, but let's get it fired up here. All right guys, see if the battery's got any juice. Ooh, we have some voltage. You know, I'm gonna take this as a sign that this thing wants to be upgraded. All right, let's get this thing pulled into the shop. Start by pulling the trans out. Or actually we'll probably pull the turbos, and then the trans. And then we'll get this motor ripped out. But we are getting ready for next season, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what we have in store. Let me get this thing pulled in here. Throwback to the OG Gray A days. We have a Greg A official weather report. It is raining cats and dogs out here. All right, so as you can see, a bomb went off, but don't worry, we're professionals. We know where all this stuff goes. I got the harness almost fully disconnected. The fuel is disconnected. I gotta pull the AC off, move it over, power steering off, move it over, and disconnect the trans, which is converter bolts and bell housing bolts, and we'll have this here yanked out. We use the fire punk tool, so we'll just have to take the valve cover off, but pretty simple on these trucks really to pull them apart, especially this one that's been apart so many times that you guys have seen. But I will check back in with you guys when we get ready to pull this thing out. Kind of hard to show you any of this stuff happening down there, but it's pretty easy. And man, when we have this motor out, we're gonna do some work on this truck and try to, I don't know, make some stuff a little bit nicer or something like this. There's just stuff overlapped over the years, and yeah, everything looks pretty good. A little crusty, but you know, to be expected. And we'll get this thing out in no time. And I just thought I'd share this, guys. This is that turbine wheel that I melted when I had triples. Still going strong. Still going strong there. Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. So we got most of the mess cleaned up. I got everything disconnected, harnesses. The trans is separated from the engine, as you could tell by the engine pitched forward. Normally on these jobs where I know something's gonna be apart for a while, I just throw it all on the bed here. Most of it fits pretty good. We'll get a bed cover here shortly and then move it outside for the time being. But for right now, next, I just gotta take the valve cover, injector harness, and rocker box off, put our fire punk lifting tool in here, and motor mount bolts are already loose, and we should be ready to roll. Kind of a sad day, really, that this thing is finally coming out after a year and a month. Pretty good record for me, but we'll get her pulled out, and not in this video, but we will open it up, tear it down, and tell you what we're gonna do with it. All right, guys, here she is out. Thanks to Brandon for helping me get the motor out without denting anything. And as you guys can see, it's the same teal engine that we had put in before we moved. This thing successfully served a year. It has done all the sled pulling this year. It has won all truck challenge, did our little ODSS events we went to, and yeah, like I said, guys, I feel like a lot of you maybe didn't watch the video of us putting it together. So again, extra G14 mil, 300% over DDPs, Wagler Street Fighters. This is a Power Stroke Products 6.7 crankshaft, Molly pistons, Wagler, or excuse me, Colt camshaft with tappets, Manton push rods, new 6.7 rocker arms, Manton valve springs, and Manton valve bridges. Just billet rear freeze plug, DPC 12 volt converter or 12 volt flex plate. This one does have the Beans billet front cover, fleece top pulley here, clipped water pump, of course a fluid dampener with a max power kit, a Steed Speed T4 to T6 adapter with the wastegate port on the bottom here. We have some XDP freeze plugs, 625 studs. This is a ported head on here as well, and fire ringed, obviously. I showed you guys the turbos. Again, this was a FI 480 V2, so this turbo is 3 years old. And then our 106 Garrett Box GT X55R with a 1.0 open housing on it. When I built it, a lot of people thought we were gonna blow up the turbos, and this setup has worked really, really well for not just this engine, but several others that we've ran that setup on. And now we get the amazing job of cleaning this disaster down here. Basically, our main goal is to clean up the firewall, finally get all the insulation removed, and just start to tidy some stuff up. Just things that, you know, after a full year get dirty. For starters, we're gonna get the trans cooler. I used to run this front trans cooler. We're gonna actually move this and get rid of it. We're going to only run coolers in the rear. We're also going to get rid of some of the factory fuel lines, as well as get just this chassis kind of cleaned up, get some stuff painted, like this steering gear box that I left raw and now looks terrible. But all in all, wasn't that bad. I would say from the time I started yesterday, I had 2 hours in it, and then today maybe 15 minutes of yanking the engine out, and it's out. These third gens come apart pretty easy, especially when you've already done it several times. And again, it's just, everything's quick on these. I make them that way, so when I do have to do work on them, they come apart fairly easy. And it also helps that I don't have to remember where any of the bolts go. You just kind of already know where they go. And then lastly, I always get people that ask how we made factory air conditioning fit on this truck. If you look, we bent the receiver dryer over a little bit, and then we bent this air conditioning line down a little bit, and that's all it took to make it fit. I want to say I had about 20 minutes in bending it. Obviously be careful, but yeah, that's how we did it. From here, we're gonna go ahead and get all of this cleaned up. I know the question that everyone's gonna ask is, what are we replacing it with? We have this sleeved 6.4. Steve Burton did the machine work on it. It's got 14 mil main studs, a girdle, obviously power bore sleeves, firing half in the head, half in the block, new oil pump. We're going to reuse our original 6.4 pistons and rods and pins, put some fresh Total Seal rings on there, new bearings. We're going to reuse the camshaft that was originally in this engine. Got a brand new fluid dampener for it. Big thank you to Nick over there for helping us out. And basically, the splatter painted engine will turn into this. And this will be a wet block sleeved 6.4. So again, 6.7 crankshaft, which is that crankshaft right there, 6.7 crankshaft. And then it's sleeved down to 4.125 or 4 1/8 bore. And that's how we get the 6.4 liters of displacement. This engine here will have a 14 mil on it as well. And then we're gonna run another 14 mil. So we'll have two 14 millimeter pumps, a set of dynamite injectors, a ported head, 625 studs, fire ringed. This should be a pretty nasty motor. Obviously with the forged pistons, the road trips and stuff won't be happening as much, which, you know, it is what it is. We'll get ready for the next season. I just want to take it up another notch for this year and see what we can put down with a little bit stronger of an engine build. Realistically, the Street Fighters weren't the issue I was worried about. It was the cast pistons that are in this motor that I was starting to get nervous about. Again, we put a lot of beat down on this engine. I will tear it apart for you guys to let you look at it, so that'll be coming up soon. But as you can see, it was just time for a refresh. New season, new engine, not a big deal. And then once we get the engine in and broken down, or broken in rather, I'll pull the trans back out and do a refresh. I just hate doing them both at the same time, because then you're trying to worry about getting the oil pressure, and then you're also trying to worry about filling the trans. So it's a lot easier if you just change them one at a time. In closing, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. 07, getting new life into it. We'll get it cleaned up and get it ready for next year. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a big thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I'll catch y'all in the next one.